Trivalent Understanding Noetics. That's what we're here today to teach you a little bit about. And this is class number 8?
6.
7. It is. Class number 7. Okay. And this class is about relationships. But before we get into that, everybody sit back, hold your head up at 45 degrees. We're going to go through the affirmations of the Wounded Soul Preamble. And it starts off, I will live, excuse me. Take a deep breath in. Let it out. Another deep breath in. Let out more than you took in. I have big lungs. Another deep breath in. And last, release. Now repeat these words as you visualize these images. I will live in the light.
I will live in the light.
Warmed by truth and embraced by grace.
Warmed by truth and embraced by grace.
I will remain a defender of the symbols of life.
I will remain a defender of the symbols of life.
I will eliminate evil.
I will eliminate evil.
Evil is the shadow of lies
Evil is the shadow of lies
that seeks to blot the illumination of the human spirit.
that seeks to block the illumination of the human spirit.
Evil cannot grow in my life
Evil cannot grow in my life
unless it is cultivated by hate,
unless it is cultivated by hate,
watered by the clouds of guilt and shame,
watered by the clouds of guilt and shame,
and fertilized by the fetid foul, veiled fruits of fear,
veiled fruits of fear,
such as envy,
greed,
jealousy,
fear
of lack,
fear of lack,
fear of truth,
fear of truth,
fear of pain,
fear of pain,
fear of death,
fear of death,
or the worst fear of all,
or the worst fear of all,
fear of fear itself.
fear of fear itself.
As I eliminate hate, guilt, shame, and fear, the light of my spirit will grow brighter and brighter,
the light of my spirit will grow brighter and brighter,
unconsciously giving permission for all around me to do the same. Ashe. Now, we're going to get into relationships. Human beings are more than just communal beings. We are beings born and sustained by the relationships that we form. When we first come to this reality, we first form relationships with our mother. If you do not, you will die. There doesn't have to be anything wrong with you physically, emotionally, but spiritually, you will not have that image, because spirit is at least in 1/3 about imagination, that you need in order to connect to this reality. And you die. In medicine, we call it failure to thrive. But we can feed you all that you can hold. We can keep you warm and comforted. If you do not form that bond with your mother, have that relationship with that maternal being, you will die. After you get past that initial relationship, you form relationships with other members of your family. 2 to 3, you have gotten those relationships pretty well underway. After that, as you get older, you form relationships with others in your immediate environment, usually friends of the same age and same sex as you are. If you successfully form those relationships, you will grow, mature, and form relationships with those generally of your same age of the opposite sex. We're getting into a little bit more interpersonal, interphysical relationships. Believe it or not, that ain't the end. Because as you grow and mature past that, you will eventually try a relationship with someone, generally of the opposite sex, not always, that is more than just a romantic relationship. It's a relationship of binding. And that binding relationship is usually viewed as something called marriage. That relationship usually sustains you until you are much, much, much older and have children of your own. You form relationships with them. You also have relationships generally with those that you work with. But you have relationships with lots and lots and lots and lots of other people that I'm not even going to mention. Classmates, acquaintances of other members of your family, other relatives that you have, other people that you meet briefly or for extended periods of time. Those relationships are all governed by something that psychologists call group dynamics. And those group dynamics are dependent upon both the personalities and the abilities that both you and those you're in a relationship have. Now, come over here to our blackboard. Not you. And we will take a look at what's called the lamps theories. This is about females, I should say more females, ranking males because females choose males. Okay, the lamps theory. Lamps, L-A-M-P-S, stands for looks, athleticism, money, power, and status. This is what females usually use to judge males. Now, looks and athleticism are the two top things on the lamps theory list. And that is what someone looks like. We're very superficial. What they look like, gonna be the first thing that goes to you. And you're gonna say, he looks good. He looks all bucked, carrying on. And he walks with a certain confidence. Hey, check me out. I'm the baddest mother scrubber in the place. Don't you know? Women like that. Okay, Lord tells me I can do this. We went to an event last night. Had a wonderful time. The Hip Hope Trio Plus, that's us, we performed. We had a really, really good time. One of the things that we didn't have such a good time with was certain, let's just call them females, who were very, very much attracted to moi. Now, my wife didn't appreciate that at all. It was disrespectful to her. They were attracted to me for lots of reasons, and most of them probably didn't have as much to do with my appearance, although I looked good. I was looking good. As with the fact that I was confident, I was authoritative. The show didn't start until we got there. There was about 40, 50 people in the place when we got there. Nobody had done nothing until we came in the door. We came in the door, I walked right up to the bandstand. I started discussing with the engineer and with the MC exactly what we were going to do, when we were going to do it, what we needed, so forth and so on. And people saw that as the last three areas on the lamps. Scoreboard. Money. It was said on many occasions, there's lots of money in this room, and it is. Power and status. I came in there very powerful. I came in there with the status of being me. And people were attracted to that. To the degree that several females, one in particular, very disrespectful, did everything except drop on her back, throw her legs in the air, and say, "Here it is." She did everything but that. But that was, believe it or not, appropriate for the lamps theory. Looks, athleticism, I'm kind of, yeah. Money, power, status. That led to a whole lot of females being attracted to me and showing that they were attracted to me. I'm attracted to that one right there. That one, that's the one. That's the one. I told her that 7, 8 years ago. She didn't believe me. I had to convince her. Yeah, she was the one. But let's go back to our board. Okay. Down at the bottom, we got different personality types. And everyone that you know is primarily one or maybe a mixture of these personality types. The first one we have here is the alphas. And I'm not talking about the sorority or fraternity. This is not the alphas of that ilk. The alphas are leaders. Others find them. Alphas take power. They are self-motivated, and they are themselves the center of almost all attention. They demand it. Many people have told me that my voice is very, very pleasant to listen to. When we went to that IMS thingamajiggy, and the woman chased us, SVP, that's what's called, SVP. And the woman chased us down outside as we were leaving to say, "Oh, you just sound so good. I can listen to you all day. Your voice, you ought to be on radio." She didn't know we are on voiceatradio.com. Wednesdays at 6 p.m., Humanity 3.0. Holla out to Voices. But that kind of identified me to her as an alpha. Because when I talked, everybody else stopped and listened. And they enjoyed it. It wasn't something that they were made to do. They enjoyed it. Okay, back to the board. We have betas. Betas aren't alphas, but they can lead. Betas want to be alphas. They're not. They gather others to them. Alphas don't need to do that. Others flock to alphas. They request power. They ask for it. Alpha sees it. Take it. It's mine. It's supposed to be here. They are motivated by culture and the desires of others. Many people characterize betas as alphas in waiting. I don't see them as such. They are wannabes. Wannabes. They want to be an alpha. They want to be a leader. If somebody lets them, they will lead. Our vice president, what's the boy's name from Indiana? Pence. Beta. Beta. He wants power, and he wants power to be given to him. Okay, next, we have deltas. Deltas are followers. They join others. They are power adverse. Now, what I mean by that is they don't really want it. And if you try to give it to them, they won't take it. They'll make up all sorts of excuses. Why? No, it ought to be him. No, you ought to give it to her. Yeah. Deltas. Deltas are motivated by consensual validation. Now, let me explain that just a little bit. Consensual validation means that you have an idea or a paradigm that you want others' opinions on. This is primarily, believe it or not, a female characteristic. Females are the ultimate consensual validators. Anytime anything happens to you, the first thing you want to do is call up your girlfriend. Girl, you know, so forth and so on, and this, that, and the other, and blah, this, and blah, that, and blah, that, so forth, so. And now you want to listen to what your girlfriend says. Girl, you know, I wouldn't take that. I would tell that. Okay, all right, good. Click. Call up your sister. Girl, you know what happened? You know, that, so forth and so on, and he told me that. Well, I don't know. I might want to. You're going to talk to a whole lot of people. You're going to get all of their opinions. You're going to think about them. You're going to visualize them. And you're going to make a decision primarily based on what they say. You're not going to generally do what you feel unless it's what they say. If you feel A and everybody tells you need C, yeah, you're going with C. Deltas don't have a whole lot of self-confidence. Alphas could sell self-confidence to everybody else. Betas got some, but they want more. Deltas got very little. Next, we have a category called gammas. Like deltas, gammas are followers. They are isolated and by themselves. You see loners wandering around a group of people. Those are primarily gammas. They are, they're somewhat frightened of power, and they actually resent those who have it. A whole lot of the times, gammas are motivated by fear. That's why Lion 45's got so many people following him. They're gammas. And they're motivated by all the fear stuff that he brings out. This us against them. We got to do something else. Something bad's going to happen. They're always trying to import an image for the future that is bad. And gammas, fearful as they are, will do almost anything to assuage the feelings of uncomfortableness and anxiety that fear brings them. Last but not least, we got roles. Roles are victims. They give away their power. They are the ones looking for groups. Now, this is not like the gammas who's going to be trying to avoid groups, but they would like to be in a group. They're just kind of scared. And they're motivated by primarily guilt and shame. They think they haven't done things that deserve a reward or a good life, and they don't think they're worth it as beings to have an upstanding reputation, a beautiful home, a nice car, and any of those things like that. Roles are always the victim. I'd be great if somebody hadn't. I'd be great if they didn't. If the man wouldn't. Those are roles. They are loud and they are always victims. Now, everybody falls into one, sometimes a couple, they fall between categories, of those personality types. Most people know everybody's personality type. Now, knowing is emotional, spiritual. It's not intellectual, like thinking, like understanding. You feel what you know. And what I'm saying is, you feel when somebody's a leader. You feel when they bullshitting and they faking at it. You feel when it ain't no leadership bone in their body. And you feel when they are always victimizing themselves. You know them. You may not understand them, but you know them. Some personality types go together. Some personality types don't. I'm an alpha. So's my wife. I could not stand a delta, and Rose would make me want to slap them. That's just the deal. Now, let's go back to the chart just for one more second, because we want to explain this graph to you. This are the retention vectors for mates. This is primarily a vector that females utilize in order to get mates. Now, what do females want? Believe it or not, they want the bad boy. They want somebody that on lamps vectors is high. See the lamps vectors are 0 right here and positive 5 that way and negative that way. So they want somebody who's positive over here. And this is what they describe as beta attributes of what a quote unquote man, especially a leader of a house, is supposed to provide. Protection, provide nourishment, whatever they need, be a provider, and educate them. This is what they state they want. Okay, this is what they should be looking for. But what they're actually looking for is somebody who is high on the lamps and don't really give a rat's patootie about protecting, providing, or educating. That's why we got so many baby daddies and not so many husbands. Because the husband is up here. Ideal man, beta provider. I want a roughneck. I want a thug. That's what they want. And that's why you see so many down there in Upweight with this. And they will generally have several of them. They will be sequential monogamous sometimes. Now, when I say that, I mean they sometimes will have a bad boy, get rid of him. Have another bad boy, get rid of him. Have another bad boy, get rid of him. Have another bad boy, get rid of him. Because I want a roughneck. No, you really don't need one. You may want it. That ain't what you need. We had a song about that we did last night, but we ain't gonna do it right now. Those things are generally what most people are never taught about unless they go through an advanced psychology course in college. They go through sociology. They might get it when they're studying for a master's. If they're going for psychology, they might get it if they're studying for a master's. Otherwise, nobody knows these very essential elements of relationships. Okay? Any questions so far? Okay. Now, I've got to change the slide, which in my case means taking off the tape and trying to get this thing put into here. Okay, I think that just may do it. Okay. Now, as stated before, females generally choose mates. Now, males can select females, but that don't work unless the female accepts it, generally. But females got several problems that lead to really jacked up relationships. And every one of these problems has to do with an imbalance. And it's an imbalance between, believe it or not, their mind and their spirit. It's an imbalance between what they think and what they feel. As a result, there is a great imbalance between what they want and what they need. Talk to most females. What do you want in a mate? Well, I want somebody that's tall and good looking
and got a nice car and got a nice job and is real generous and kind. Okay, that's what you want. Excuse me, who are you? Oh, my name is Roro. I live in the projects. Roro, you need somebody to get you at the projects. You need some education. You need a whole bunch of other things other than these things you want in a man. Imbalance. Okay. There's another imbalance, and this one, believe it or not, is a lot more prevalent, and this is an imbalance between what they want and what they'll accept. Okay, let's go back to Roro. Roro, you want this tall, dark, handsome, rich man with a good job and a nice car who's kind and generous. Who you going with now, Roro? Oh, Bebe. What Bebe do? Oh, he ain't working right now. He between jobs. When's the last time Bebe worked? Oh, it's been about a year or two. What Bebe do then in the year or two? Oh, he does a little this and he does a little that. He don't work nowhere? Did he have a car? Well, he had one. It broke down. We'll get it fixed. We gonna get it fixed and we gonna be right. Is he generous? He kind of tight. And he's always at the bar. He goes to the club every weekend. Well, wait a minute. What you want was A, B, C, D, E. What you got is GF to elemental P. I said that right. GF, elemental P. All the rest of the stuff is missing. But that's what you accept. And if you talk to her after she got rid of Bebe, she got another Bebe. His name ain't Bebe. Big difference between what they want and what they're going to accept. Another inequity. And this is really an inequity. That's the inequity between what they want and what wants them. Okay, baby girl. You want this handsome, tall, dark, rich, nice whip driving guy with a good job who's generous. What you doing? Well, it's just me and the kids. I'm just taking care of the kids. And okay, how far did you go in school? Well, I went to the 11th grade almost. Okay. And you work where? Oh, I don't work nowhere. I could get a check. Now, baby girl, let me tell you something. Straight from my heart. And I mean that, straight from my heart. Anybody who fits the description that you just gave for what you won't want you. Straight up, no chaser. Because if they did, something would be wrong with them. Something would be radically wrong with their minds. Number one, they could get somebody better. Number two, they could get somebody who is more appropriate for them. Number three, they would try to get somebody who brought something into the relationship except their physical body. So the chances of you getting who you want, the chances of who you want wanting you, slim and none. Really slim, almost none. Now, to the largest degree, that will not discourage our project girl or our girl from the middle class or any other female, whatever her status, because she has been taught what is desirable, what is attractive, and what she wants by media, by television, movies, newspapers, books and magazines, radio, and right now, the internet. And so they follow the desires and, to the largest degree, wants
of the segment of the population they closely identify with. Whether that's El Lebanese, pink, Hispanic, Oriental, it doesn't matter. They're all kind of pretty much have the same general wants. And those general wants are going to be translated down to everybody else. Sorry, Roro. Okay. Last but not least, imbalance between the desires of most females to get somebody who protects, provides, and educates, and what they actually deserve. Does Roro deserve a college graduate who's majored in business and who wants to work for a Fortune 500 company? I don't know. But I do believe that most people who fit that category would say, no. Sorry, Roro. Ain't happening. So these imbalances follow people their whole existence because they are not taught what they are. They are not taught how to change them. And they are not taught that these types of imbalances will not only lead you to an unhappy place in your living, they will prevent you from actually enjoying and accomplishing your purpose with your life. Every human being comes into this reality with a mission, with a purpose, with a reason for them being here. Getting involved in these types of interpersonal relationship problems ties up so much of your energy, specifically your psychic energy, your time, and everything else, not to mention money and other things like that, that you generally don't have time to think about what the hell am I supposed to be doing here. Right. And if you did, you would not have the energy, the focus to pursue it. That is bad. It is worse because often these people go through these same revelations, disappointments, frustrations, and angers over and over and over and over. And they wonder what's wrong with men. I can't find no good men out here. I just can't find, it ain't no more. God just took them all away. They're all in prison. Something's wrong. No, baby girl, it's you. The only thing that all those, quote, no good men have in common is you. And unfortunately, generally, no good women have no good men. A good woman won't tolerate a no good man. They won't. My wife went through several before she found a real good one. Wasn't me, was Clyde. But that was a real good man.
It's you now.
Is me.
Yes.
See, that makes me feel so hard getting it. But again, the difference between what you want and what you settle for. If you have a really good opinion of yourself, if you understand and have learned what you are, if you understand and have learned who you are, when you are, and where you are, you're not going to say, take a jackleg guy. You're above that. And you think too much of you to inflict somebody else's problems, turmoils, and difficulties on you. It's a challenge you don't need. Why would you do that? You wouldn't. You would try to find someone who suits you and is appropriate. Okay? And that's what we're going to talk about
Okay, I'll stop. Okay. Let's talk about finding someone who's appropriate. I must confess. Yes, I must. I must confess now. I stole what I'm about to give you now. I did. George Fraser, very well-known man in Cleveland, for FraserNet Power Networking Conferences. George started maybe about 2000, I think, in 3, doing power networking conferences. He used to hold them downtown in the convention center. George's friend and mentor was Qua David Whitaker, who was my teacher for the he was my teacher for the Akan rites of passages. As one of his students, we assisted George in putting on the Power Networking Conference. We were part of the opening ceremonies. At one point, we conducted a class in the Akan rites of passages. We did closing ceremonies for George. And we were so much a part of the Power Networking Conference that when George decided to move it from Cleveland to Atlanta, we went to Atlanta and did the first conference there. George came up with a formula, and this formula was for how people in relationships should choose those relationships. George's power networking was all about relationships. It was about business relationships. Again, one of the relationships I talked to you about earlier. And George always told us, when you're trying to collaborate with somebody else on a business tip, you never go in there talking about what you need, what you want, anything like that, what you can do. You go there trying to address their needs. What is it that would help them? What is it that would benefit them? What is it that would enable them to go where and how they want to? You approach it from that direction, and you try to find someone that you click with. We, at Global Entertainment, was over at his offices one day, and George was showing us his new book. And in his new book, he had this formula. And as soon as I saw it, I said, I'm stealing that. Oh yeah, I'm stealing that. I was bold enough to tell George I was stealing it, but I stole it nevertheless. And it is the formula that I call click. Well, he called it click too, but I changed it a little bit. I modified it to some degree. It's not the same one that he came up with, the same name. But the click formula is a formula that you should utilize when trying to find interpersonal relationships, especially romantic relationships. You should use this particular formula. Bam! This is click. Click. When you click with someone, click equals F to the third power times C times the square root of T. Sounds real mathematical, don't it? It's not. It's about relationships. Let's go into discussion. Okay. First, representation is F cubed. F to the third power. And F stands for fit. Does this person fit you? And this means fits you in 3 dimensions. Fits you spiritually, fits you mentally, emotionally, and fits you physically. Okay, spiritually. What are their images? What images do they run their life by? What are the images they have of relationship? What are the images they have of family? What are the images they have of community? What images powers this person's living? Now, generally, you can't go to somebody and say, hey, I like you. What's your sign? What images do you operate your life by? They're going to look at you like, uh-huh, right. Somebody's calling me, bye. And they out. But through conversation, association, you can find out these things. One of the best ways to find out these things is to meet their parents and to meet the family that they grew up in. This will show you some of the images they are following. It will show you the image of father that they are trying to imitate. It will show you the image of mother that they're trying to actually obtain. It will show you the image of family closeness or family cohesion. It will show you the images of family life. It will show you a whole bunch of these images that this person is operating their life through. Now, emotionally, this sounds rather simple. It is not. Because most people just think that that means somebody I get along with. No. Because unfortunately, you're not supposed to get along with everybody all the time. Especially your mate. Most of the time, not all the time. And unfortunately, people have a tendency to flip scripts on your butt in a second. We're going to get into script flipping a little bit more as we come to another one of these factors in fit. But they should be someone that is emotionally compatible to you. If you're a stoic, straight up, no nonsense, no funny business person, you may or may not want somebody who's laughing all the time, who thinks everything is a joke. But by the same token, if you're life of the party, you don't want somebody who's going to be a stick in the mud, and I don't want to go no place, I don't want to do nothing, I don't want to, that ain't where my head at. We have, and I'm talking about Americans, have a whole rift of emotional problems that infect this country. And I mean infect it like a disease. And finally, the medical community in this country is starting to treat some of these emotional problems as diseases. There is an epidemic of suicide in America. Why? And it's primarily young people. Why are all these young people killing themselves? Because they are emotionally unstable. We have a huge problem with people being depressed. Bipolar disease, yeah, but primarily depression, anxiety. Most people are not physically depressed. You cannot tell somebody's depressed by looking at them, by talking to them. Because most depressions are masked. That's a major, again, epidemic in the United States. The United States has a real big problem with violence and aggression, and especially against females. The Me Too movement's bringing all of this to the surface, but this has been a problem for centuries. Let me say that, centuries. Because in Europe, where most of the social rules for this country comes from, females were personal possessions. They had no rights, they had no authority, they belonged to the man of the house. If they were not married, they belonged to their father, and their father could do just about anything he wanted to. Raped them, it wasn't called rape. She belongs to me. Beat them, it's not called abuse. She belongs to me. Do all sorts of emotionally and mentally cruel things to them. No, it's not cruelty. She belongs to me. When they got married, didn't stop because now they belong to their husband. They were again a possession. You could not inherit, you could not vote, you could not own property. And that was the way it was in this country until about 50, 75 years ago. And all of that is still around. Witness Kavanaugh. Lying drunkard that everybody knows sat up and lied to Congress not once, not twice, not three, not four, multiple times. And was still appointed to the highest office in the land for his profession. Why? Because all the people judging him were pink males who are going along with the legal prescription up until 75 years ago were required by the law to beat their wives with a stick no bigger than their thumb. This is an emotional problem for all of America, all European-based countries, and especially females right here, right now. Thankfully, y'all getting it together though. Come on with it. Those types of problems are things that would make someone emotionally unsuitable for you. And it would not be something that you find out easily or quickly. Last, physical. Fitness. What do you like to do physically? Do you like to run? Are you into bowling? Do you like to play tennis? Are you a couch potato and just like to sit at home and watch television? Whatever you like to do, the person that you fit with should have at least an interest in that too. Because if they do not, y'all will be growing apart. As you pursue what you pursue and they pursue what they pursue physically. My wife and I were discussing this last night. I don't like to be away from her. She doesn't like to be away from me.
Right.
And there is almost no time in any day that we are separate. I like being with her. I like being around her. If I got to go and do something else, I am always thinking about, wait a minute, I got to finish this up and quit it because I got to get home.
Yeah, I feel the same.
I got to be home with my wife. That's where I'm happiest. That's where I feel at home. That's where I am the most comforted. But regardless, it should be a mutual physical desire. Okay, that's the F cubed. Fit times 3. Spirit, mind, body. Okay, next phrase. C. C is simple. What you got in common? Is he a college graduate with a master's in psychology who is into exploring archaeological and anthropological sites? And you're an embroiderer. That's what you like to do. You all got very little in common. That's all that's going on. And again, without not one, but several aspects of your desires in common, again, y'all gonna be growing apart. I keep bringing up my wife and I, because that's the relationship I know the most about. We got so much in common, it's crazy. Dancing, music, history, genealogy, psychology, education. Our backgrounds very, 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 very similar. Again, fit. I found out what a family was like. Real early. One of my stepchildren came to Cleveland and threatened to kill me if I hurt her. Okay, I'm meeting you for the first time. I'll kill you up if you hurt her at all. Oh, no, she didn't kill you up. She said, I'll kill you. Now, she doesn't and did not know me from Adam.
Right.
She didn't know that my first job outside of washing cars when I was a teenager was killing people. And I have no problem taking life. None. I was good at it. I did it for the United States military. And I was one of the best they had. But she also reminded me of some of my family who might threaten you with stuff just like that, although generally they wouldn't tell you they'd kill you. Mm-mm. They would not tell you they'd kill you. If they were going to kill you, it would be a surprise. It would be a straight up surprise. And you, what this night doing in my, what the, that's the way. That's the deal. But it still was endearing and familiar, and that she had people that would at least say they would go to those lengths made me understand how loved and respected she was. She is the leader of her family. She's not the oldest, but she's the leader. She leads every member of her family. Yeah, we got that in common. I'm not the oldest. I'm 8th out of 11. But the 9th, 10th, and 11th were all my students. All my life. I'm 5, I'm teaching them. I'm 10, I'm teaching them and the neighborhood kids. I'm 12, every day I hold classes on whatever I learned that day. Music and marching and martial arts and whatever. She was pretty much the same. We had huge amounts in common. We were clicking before I knew what click was. And now, when we go out, people hold our relationship up as, oh yeah, I want to be like y'all. I want to do like y'all. Okay, last but not least, square root of time. Now, I told you I was going to get into fit, at least the one aspect of it a little later. We're here now. It's square root of time. Because, number one, this must be the right time in your lives. Had I met my wife a year or 2 earlier, it ain't nowhere in the world we would have got together. Ever. Never. It never would happen. If I had met her a year or 2 later, again, wouldn't have happened. Would not have happened at all. We were at, for each of us, the right time in our lives. Second, you must spend time with this person. You must spend personal time, and a lot of it, with this person. Not just going out on dates. Spend some time with them doing things, ordinary things, household things, doing their laundry, cooking. Again, seeing how they operate and work within their family. And this time is probably the most important thing and aspect of all of those variables in click, because you don't actually meet someone unless you spend 60 to 90 days with them, spending significant time in their presence. Now, let me repeat that. You don't actually meet someone until you spend 60 to 90 days in their presence in various circumstances and situations. Because before that 60 to 90 days, the only thing you have done is to meet their representative. You have only met their facade, their face, their front. You have only met what they want you to see. The parts of them that they do not want you to see, they're not going to show it to you. Duh. I don't want you to see it. I'm going to keep that stuff on the background. I'm going to keep it on the download, low download that it's down there with Satan. And it's usually satanic. But unless you spend that significant time, you have never met them. I cannot tell you the number of times that I have discussed with a female a situation in which she was either in a physically abusive or emotionally abusive relationship, and when you ask them, well, how long you known them? 2 weeks. And y'all living together? Uh-huh. You ain't never met this guy. Why are you shocked that you did not know him? Why are you shocked that he's showing you things you didn't see before? Why are you surprised when you find out he got 2 other wives? When you never met this guy. You never met him. You got infatuated with his representative and you went with that. That ain't gonna never work. Who are they really? You will not find out until you have spent that significant time with them and finally met them. Then you can make a decision. Do I want to be involved with this person or not? Before that time, Oh, no, get your face away from mine. Don't be trying to kiss up on me. Get your hands off me. It ain't that type of party. Not until I met you. Now, unfortunately, in today's society, that rule is so often violated as to be non-existent. When both males and females are constantly going to the club to hook up. I'm going to go out on Friday night to my favorite hangout. I'm going to try and meet somebody I have never met before, and my intention is to go home and have sex with them. Now, this is not just males. Females are doing this every day. Every day. They do not realize that they are taking into themselves all of his or her spiritual challenges and problems, emotional disturbances, and physical complications. Does he have HIV? You don't know. Is he a mass murderer? You got no idea. Does he do this every weekend and you are just one in a long line? Now, believe it or not, some females want that. They don't mind that at all. That's what they're looking for. I'm just out here to get me a piece, and I really don't care. I'm going to come out here and try to find the best piece I can, and I'm going to try to get it home, lower it up in bed, screw it, and then say bye. I'll see you maybe. Not only dangerous and self-destructive, it leads you into a pattern that will very, very soon be all over the neighborhood. Oh, yeah, Annie? She's a neighborhood piece. Go down to the club on Friday, you can get it. And that is being said at an alarming rate about females. Calcabulanese, pink, Oriental, Hispanic, it don't matter. In America, that is what they are doing. And we wonder why the divorce rate is more than 55%. More than half of all marriages end in divorce in America. We wonder why the highest HIV rate is among females 15 to 24. Well, they obviously wasn't looking for a click. They was looking for something else that has the CL off of it. Please, camera, show the word click. Show the word click. They wasn't looking for a click. If you take this C and put that right there to that, that's what they was looking for. If I'm lying, come call me. If I'm lying, smack me across my face. I don't expect no smacks. Because I'm telling you what everybody knows. Bottom line. Fit Q. Fit spirit, mind, and body. What you have in common, spend that time at that time. That time that is right. Spend that time to find out, who is this? Who are they really? If you follow that formula, you will not only have very, very satisfying relationships, you will have relationships that enable you to more easily accomplish your purpose. My purpose in life, and let me back up and do an aside to the camera. Hey, camera. Yeah, I talk about me a lot because I know me better than I know anybody else on this planet. My purpose in life was to give mankind the next stage of evolution. This is primarily for pink people. I didn't come here for Kebulese. I came here for pink people. Because they are the ignorant ones. They're the ones who've never had the understanding or the knowledge that is inherent in our people. My wife not only understands and appreciates that, but she's part of it. Yes. She's the vice president of education of our 501c3. Yeah. Prometheus Reborn Universal Foundation. As I said, we do everything together. I love her. Okay, that's relationships. That's click. Got any question? Sir. All right, then that is the end of the class. And I leave you as always with the words peace. Hold on. I already know you know that stands for proper education always corrects error. But at the end of this video, we're writing in just a couple of seconds, we're going to play you a song like we normally do. And this song relates to the last thing that I discussed in Click. It talks about time. We are here in this reality for a certain amount of time. We are here to perform the purpose for which the Most High allowed us to be born. Unfortunately, we have a tendency to let both the time and that purpose slip away from us. One of the members of Global Entertainment, O.G. Shankster, had a situation in which his baby mama died, his grandfather died, and then his father died, all within a couple of weeks. This really got to him as an expression of his lack of appreciation for the time that he has in this reality. You only get so much time. And that time was meant to develop those characteristics, strengths, and abilities that will allow you to accomplish your purpose.
Listen to this song by O.G. Shankster and never waste your time. The Lord bless you and the ancestors continue to protect you.
Anybody got the time?
Nobody knows the hour, man, we steady wasting time. Like we gon' live forever, death has its own design. It's steady painting pictures with portraits of ghetto living. We trapped in this game to maintain pain, cause we all in prison. Tales of our own dimensions, we tied to these street conventions. How many lives must the Lord snatch for the world to listen? Y'all need to pay attention and pray for your own repentance. When Jesus died up on that cross, it was for good intentions. Vengeance belong to God, cause hate never conquered love. And y'all always scared to ride you, transform them into thugs. You can't quite believe they grown. This street life that took them in. I'm still trying to bring them home. I hope they can make it in time. Tomorrow never seems to promise you time. And yesterday was just a matter of time. We're living today in the grace of our time. It could be you, it could be me. Nobody promised you time. Tomorrow never seems to promise you time. And yesterday was just a matter of time. We're living today in the grace of our time. It could be you, it could be me. Nobody promised you. I really miss my pops, man. I can't believe he gone. I held his hands up on time steps when they called him home. Man, I could barely breathe it. Felt like my life was doomed. I felt the spirit leave his body right there in the room. Man, I just couldn't cry. My tears had refused to leave. I looked at my mama's eyes and knew that his soul was free. Free to begin this journey. His journey towards heaven's doors. I hope that he made it in, cause man, when it rains it pours. I finally hit my knees. The tears had begun to fall, cause death came around in threes. My kid's mama took the call. Man, she'd have seen my face. I couldn't hang up the phone with my son on the other end. Said, Daddy, my mama's gone. Jesus had called her home. I nearly lost my mind. Nobody knows the hour, man. Nobody knows the time. We take this life for granted. Yeah, we steady wasting time. Like we gon' live forever. We all on borrowed time. Tomorrow never seems to promise you time. And yesterday was just a matter of time. We're living today in the grace of our time. It could be you, it could be me. Nobody promised you time. Tomorrow never seems to promise you time. And yesterday was just a matter of time. We're living today in the grace of our time. It could be you, it could be me. Nobody promised you. This world is getting colder, weight still up on our shoulder. Man, I can barely breathe. I feel like it's almost over. Whole world have been convicted. This crime rate done finally shifted. Them shackles and chains up on this nightmare's been finally lifted. I was only sent to warn you, cause my time is almost finished. I gave you the perfect moment. By nightfall it counts to minutes. Cause nobody knows the hour or second we supposed to leave. We all searching for tomorrow when yesterday was all we need. We so busy making plans on times beyond the future. Hope y'all can make amends, cause tomorrow wasn't promised to you. Y'all need to hit your knees and ask God to save your soul, cause nobody knows the hour or time you're supposed to go. Time. Tomorrow never seems to promise you time. And yesterday was just a matter of time. We're living today in the grace of our time. It could be you, it could be me. Nobody promised you time. Tomorrow never seems to promise you time. And yesterday was just a matter of time. We're living today in the grace of our time. It could be you, it could be me. Nobody promised you time.